Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about some of my all-time favorite adult books that I've read. So disclaimer, I haven't really read that many adult books. Mostly the books that I read are young adult, as you can see on my shelf. I think like just about every single one of these books on these first maybe 4 shelves are all young adult. So I think it's pretty obvious that I absolutely love young adult and it is my all-time favorite type of book to read. So I'm going to go through these books a little bit quickly, and most of them are actually books that I read for classes that I really enjoyed, and just sometimes they are leisure books that I like, but for the most part they're actually books that I was assigned to read. So the first book on this list, and in no particular order, is Prayers for the Stolen by Jennifer Clement, and I love this book so much. And actually this is really cute. I didn't even realize this, but the pages are deckled. I didn't even notice this. This is a paperback book, but it's like kind of made like a hardcover. It's so strange. Like I've never seen a book like this, but I absolutely loved this book when I read it. I think I read it for my English 111 class in college, and I absolutely love this book. It is so good. It's kind of hard to explain. It's set in Mexico, and it's kind of about this town that is filled with all women. All of the men are in America or somewhere else trying to make a living for their families, and that's about as much as I can tell you without spoiling a lot of it, but it is super good, and it is own voices, and I absolutely love this book. Another book is from an author that comes as absolutely no surprise to anyone who watches my videos, and that is Remember Me by Sophie Kinsella. And I absolutely loved this book. It's not one of the Shopaholic books, but I loved it all the same. Basically, this is about a woman and she loses her memory and kind of has to reclaim her life after that. It's not very serious. It's super light and hilarious. Like, Sophie Kinsella is the funniest writer I have ever read, like ever. And she's just, I just love this book so much. I sped through it and I absolutely totally recommend any of Sophie Kinsella's books. The next 2 books are from the same author, and that is Dave Eggers, and I have You Shall Know Our Velocity and A Hologram for the King, both of which I read for my English 110 class. As you can see, this book, this copy, is like incredibly falling apart. Like, it is water damaged up on the corners and just, oh, it's so bad. Like, literally, you just saw like paper falling off of the cover. Oh, it's so bad. Like, literally. I absolutely love these books. There are a lot of issues with these books, and maybe one day I'll post my essays on these books, because I wrote some pretty long essays and they were kind of tearing them apart because there's a lot of white saviory tropes in these books. I actually liked this book better than I liked this book. It was less problematic than this book. This one is about a guy and he comes upon a large sum of cash and he does not want to keep it. He likes to keep his bank account at around $0. So he does not want to keep all of this cash. So he goes to Africa and some other continents and countries, and he just starts giving away the money to people he thinks deserve the money more than he does. And then this book is about a businessman, and he is trying to sell this hologram to the king of, I think, Saudi Arabia. I think it is. Let me check one second. Okay, so it is Saudi Arabia. I knew it. But basically this one is super good. It's very dry. It's written extremely different than this book is written. So as you can see, there is no quotations. The quotations are just with a little dash, and then it has the words. It's like super strange. I've never really read a book like that, but I absolutely loved this book, and it was so interesting, and I just love the way that it was written. The next book I read was also a book that I read for high school for my AP literature class, but this was actually really special because my teacher chose a select few students from her classes to go with her to a luncheon to meet this author. And that author was William Landy, and he wrote Defending Jacob, and this was the book that we had to read before we went to the luncheon, and we got to ask him questions one-on-one, which was super awesome. I'd never met an author before, and it was really cool, and he was awesome and amazing. And he also signed this copy, signed my copy, and that was super sweet of him. But basically, Defending Jacob is about a district attorney, and he is given a case where his son is actually one of the people that they think is guilty for this murder that happened. And I absolutely love this book. I cried at the end. I was like so emotionally attached to the characters in this book, and I loved it so much. I totally recommend it to anyone who loves true crime as much as I do. Like, I love true crime, and I don't read very many true crime books, but I absolutely love this one. This is fiction, so it's not technically true crime. It's like fictionalized true crime, but I don't know. It's really good, and I totally recommend it. The next book I have is my all-time favorite book, which is crazy that it's adult fiction, and it is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I love this book so much. It's really, really hard to describe this book to people because it has so many facets, and it's like it's like a huge span of time. Like, I can't even talk about this book. I love it so much. But basically, just like the beginning, the opening of this book is basically this old woman loses her husband to a fall off a ladder, and her lover from years and years and years and years and years ago comes back and wins her over, and they are able to spend the rest of their lives together of what they have. And I love this book so much. It is intense and amazing, and just there's so many facets to it, and you can totally just like talk for hours about this book, and I love it so much. This was actually the copy that I'd wanted. It was the prettiest copy I could find, and it has a picture of him on the back, and it has deckled edges, which I love. And yes, this is just one of my all-time favorite books, and it has my all-time favorite quote. "It is life, not death, that has no limits," and I love it so much. So I'm kind of gonna go through these a little quicker, and the next book is The Women of Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor, and this is awesome. This is based in New York in a block of houses that is sort of lower income housing, and it is amazing. I absolutely love it. There's so many different characters, so many different stories, and I totally recommend it to you guys. And of course, I can't go doing an adult fiction video without mentioning this series, and that is the Shopaholic series. This is actually not all of the books that I have from this series. This is Shopaholic Ties the Knot, Shopaholic and Sister, Shopaholic and Baby, and Mini Shopaholic. I actually have, I think, maybe 2 or 3 other Shopaholic books that I can't find around my house. I have no idea where they are, but these are the 4 that I have with me currently right now, and I absolutely love this series so much. I totally recommend it. It's about Becky Bloomwood, and she is a shopaholic, and she is just so funny, and just the shenanigans that she gets into is they're all just so incredibly hilarious and original and funny, and there are so many books in this series, but they do not get boring ever. They're just so good, and Becky Bloomwood is just the best character. She is so funny, and I totally recommend that you check these ones out. Even if you're not an adult fiction like person, or you're not sure if you're gonna like these books, I totally recommend that you at least try them, or maybe even just watch the movie. I love the movie. And yeah, I love this series, and I totally recommend it. Alright, so those were all of my favorite adult fiction books. They're actually not all of my favorite ones. I left out a few that I might talk about in other videos. However, those are the ones that I decided to talk about in this video today, and if you liked it, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any recommendations for adult literature, then let me know in the comments down below, as I would love to read more adult books in the future. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!